Now that you have completed your review of several verb tenses, this week you will be introduced to three new tenses: the perfect progressive tenses in the present, past, and future. Don't worry if you've never used these tenses before. Our lessons and our videos will make the use of these verb tenses easy to understand. Have fun!
The present perfect progressive. You already know that we form the present perfect progressive with have or has, been, and a present participle or verb with ing. To make a negative statement, we simply put not between have or has and been. To form a question, we are going to switch the subject and the helping verb. So it would become, have you been studying a lot of grammar lately? In this lesson, I'd like to discuss three main uses of the present perfect progressive. I'll show you three quick videos to help me explain these uses. Let's check out the first video, which explains the first use. Here we go.
I've been running for 20 minutes. 20 minutes to go. Let's do this.
This example illustrates the first use of the present perfect progressive, which is to talk about the duration of an activity in progress right now that started in the past. I started running 20 minutes ago. I am still running now. I have been running for 20 minutes. We can also use since with this use. It's important to remember that with this use, since and for, the action is still taking place. Let's take a look at another short video that will show us the second use of this tense.
Hello? Actually, yeah, can I call you right back? Because, I've been running and I'm really out of breath.
The second use of the present perfect progressive is to talk about an activity that started in the past but just ended at the moment of speaking. Unlike the first use that we talked about, in which the activity is still going. I have been running. That's why I'm really out of breath. I just stopped. With this use, the evidence of the activity is visible. Just take a look at these pictures. It is obvious that I have just finished running. Okay, let's check out the third video, which explains the third use.
Hey, I've been meaning to tell you. You look really fit these days.
Thank you. I've been running a lot lately. Okay, this last video shows us the third use of the present perfect progressive, which is to talk about a recent habit. Clearly, I'm not running right now. You saw me, I'm wearing normal clothes, right? But I have been running a lot lately. In fact, I ran on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Even though I'm not running right at this moment, I can use the present perfect progressive to say that I have been running a lot lately or recently. You may even hear these days. All right, let's quickly summarize the reasons that we use the present perfect progressive. The first use is to talk about the duration of an activity in progress, using since or for. For example, you've been watching this video for 6 minutes. I'm sure you're getting a little tired. The second use is to talk about an ongoing activity that has just ended in the moment of speaking. For example, after this video, I will probably say, I've been explaining grammar and my head hurts, so now I think I'll relax and be lazy. And the final reason that we use the present perfect progressive is to talk about a recent habit. We can also use recently and lately with this use. For example, you've been learning a lot of new grammar lately. Careful! Remember, you should not use stative verbs in any progressive tense when they express a state. Sometimes a stative verb can express an action, and then it's okay. But if it's expressing a state, do not use it with ing. For example, I have been knowing you for 3 years. No, please don't say this. You could just say, I have known you for 3 years. And that sounds great. There are other verbs with non-continuous meanings that are not necessarily stative verbs. It could be tricky to try to use these verbs in the present perfect progressive. These are verbs like drop, lose, miss the bus, and find. There are others, of course, but these are some examples. With these types of verbs, we don't necessarily express an ongoing activity or a continuous activity. We can, however, express an activity that is repeated over time. Let's take a look at an example to see what I mean. Imagine Jake says, "You're late! Where have you been?" I can't say I have just been missing the bus. That's not correct, because when one misses the bus, it's an action that happens immediately, and then it's over. It's not ongoing. So, we could express this with the present perfect or the simple past. I can say, I have just missed the bus, or I just missed the bus. However, there are ways in which we can use these types of verbs in the present perfect progressive. For example, my boss is unhappy because I have been missing the bus lately and have been arriving late to work. This is a grammatically correct sentence because now we are expressing a recent habit. Remember that third use of the present perfect progressive? It's okay to use these types of verbs with that use, using lately or recently. Okay, I've been teaching you the present perfect progressive, but our time is up now. So thank you for listening. See you next time.
past perfect progressive.
Hey, Emily.
Hey.
I have some pictures on my phone. I need you to help me choose a good picture for my Instagram. You need to choose a photo that will get me a lot of likes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So first, look at this one. What do you think of this one?
Ugh, you can't use this picture. Why is your hair all wet?
Oh, well, I had been swimming right before I took this photo. Okay, how about this one?
No. Jake, you look terrible here.
What do you... Well, I had been exercising right before. Okay, how about this one?
Jake, you look awful. You look exhausted here.
I had been working all day before I took this picture. Now no one will ever like any of my photos.
I had taken some pictures before I came to the office. This is past perfect, which we use for two actions that both happened in the past. One action happened before the other action. For the first action, we use past perfect, had, and the past participle. The second action uses the simple past. But here's what I said in the video. I had been swimming before I took the picture. Notice we have had and the past participle of be and the ing verb. This is the past perfect progressive. Here is my timeline. We are just going to focus on the past and right now. Last week, I took a picture. In the video, which is now, we are talking about the photo. What happened right before I took the photo? I had been swimming. The action of swimming happened immediately before I took the picture. We can use this tense to show that something was in progress immediately before another action in the past. In addition, the action of swimming was a continuous action that was happening for a long period of time before I took the picture. This tense shows duration. In fact, I had been swimming for 45 minutes right before I took the picture. What had I been doing before I took this photo? See if you can answer the question using the verb work out. You had been working out. I had been working out before I took the picture. This action happened immediately before another action in the past. In the video, I also told you I had been working all day before I took the picture. Notice the phrase all day. I can use this tense to show that something had been in progress for a long time before another event in the past. To make a negative sentence, insert not between had and been. I hadn't been relaxing before I took the picture. Look at two more verbs that both happened in the past. I liked the photos, then Emily looked at them. But it is wrong to say, I had been liking the photos before Emily looked at them. That is because like is a non-action or non-progressive verb. Like belongs to a group of verbs in English that cannot take the progressive tense. For this verb, we would say, I had liked the photos. Here's another example. The ground was wet. It had been raining before I got home. Notice the subject here is it. We still use had. Do not change had. The verb is the same for every subject in this tense. We can also say, it had been raining for 3 hours before I got home. Like in the past perfect, it is common to use for, especially since we are showing duration. Or, it had been raining since 6 o'clock. Remember, we use the progressive tense for continuous actions like rain. It is incorrect to say, my mother had been arriving before I got home, because arrive is not a continuous action. For non-continuous verbs, just use past perfect. We can also use this tense to talk about something that happened continuously over a long period of time. I had been studying English for 6 years by the time I graduated.